Now the next step is, after creating this, we need to estimate the project. Now estimate the project happen two ways. Either you can estimate in efforts, or you can estimate in duration. Estimate efforts mean when you talk about, look at this. This is a simple case that 4 laborers build a wall in 5 days. How much time 2 laborers will take to build the same wall? Okay. Now in the first case, if you see, there are 4 laborers. The second, and 20 days, and the duration is 5 days, right? Case 2, the 2 people, the days are 10, but the work is same. Now what is saying actually, that effort is not changing, the work is effort. So if you want to build a wall, % days of efforts. If you put 1 person, he will take 20 days. Put 2 people, 10 days. Put 3 people, maybe around 7 days. 5 days. Put 5 people, it will take 4 days. Something like that. It's not like on the ground, it doesn't happen exactly that way, but the calculation, it is like that. What is not changing is the effort. That is the % days of efforts required to build the wall. Right? So, correct. So what we do now, if we bother about these efforts, then we should estimate our project in efforts. If we bother about duration, then we estimate our project in duration. Now how it happens? If when I am bothered about duration and when I am bothered about efforts, I am bothered about efforts if I am consuming efforts. Now how? If the team who is working, the team which is working on the project is in direct control, is in direct control of me. I have a direct control on the team who is working on this. Okay? At that time I am bothered about efforts because people are spending their time, and that is efforts basically. But if I am not direct control of I am not in direct control of the team, then I am really bothered about duration, because I cannot control efforts, because team is not in my control. So when the team is not in my control, when I am working like a client, so there are client, there is a vendor. So normally who manages the resources? Vendor manages the resources, client manages the vendor. So client is more bothered about duration, bothered about efforts. So if you are in the role of vendor, you bother about work. If you are in a role of client, you bother about duration. For example, if you are a big builder, suppose a builder, and you want to construct a tower, what has happened is that most of the construction work will be contracted out to the contractors. So builder does not entertain or does not control the actual labor, actual people working. He's more, only he dictates that I expect that the first slab should be complete. Botheration of the contractor to think about how many people are required to complete this in 3 months. That is efforts. Vendor, then what is that? The client has given you the software to develop, and you have the people who are going to develop. So client is bothered about duration because you want to happen this project within 6 months. Now it is you bother that how many people are required so that I complete this in 6 months. That's how we should estimate. In this case, if I am going to contract out all these activities to some contractor, I should estimate in duration, otherwise I should estimate in efforts. I should estimate in efforts. Now, because this is a software project, and I think the way it is planned, it looks like a vendor project plan, not a client project plan, right? So what should we do? We should estimate in efforts. Is this concept clear?
Yes.
So if whenever you are in the role of vendor, first, whenever you are working as a client, you have contracted out the work, you bother about duration.
I have one question here.
Yeah.
In my case, like I'm as an operation manager, I'm taking care here. So I'm the bridge between the client and the offshore team. So for me, I think duration makes the more sense because I'm not directly controlling the team. Because I'm next to the client, I have to give all the report to client. So I'll take the what the client is looking for. So for me, looks duration is more meaningful than going with the effort. Is it correct?
You have a project manager at offshore?
Correct. I have the entire big team at offshore. So I'm managing from here as operation.
No.
But actual work happens from offshore.
I'm saying not team. You have a project manager to manage a team at offshore?
Correct. I have project manager.
Okay. So if you have a project manager at offshore, you may bother about duration. But if it is your team, you are part of the vendor organization.
Correct.
I think you also bother about efforts because you are bridge between client and the offshore team.
So I mean I have to keep track of both the things, effort as well as duration.
Right, because if efforts are not right, your duration will not be right.
Yeah, fine. So I am the part of offshore vendor team. So I am leading from here. But at the same time, when I am communicating to client, it should be in the duration mode. But when I am managing the work from my project manager at offshore, that should be in the effort mode.
Absolutely, you got it. Absolutely.
Okay, fine. Okay, thank you.
You know when to change the role. When the gloves has to be changed. Okay. Okay, so what I will do now, I will right click here, go to the insert column and type work and select work because I'm going to estimate in efforts. Right? Now before I estimate in efforts, I will go into file, say options, go to the schedule. You remember we talk about this, that we will talk about new task or effort driven. Now we have decided that our task at that time when we are set up, we were not knowing what project we are planning. Now we have planned the project, we have put the scope, and that is looks like a vendor project plan. And therefore my tasks are effort driven because I'm going to estimate in efforts. So if you are estimating in efforts, your tasks are effort driven. If you are estimating in duration, your tasks are duration driven. So if effort driven, you check this, but if you are not effort driven, uncheck this. That is by default it is duration dependent. Okay, duration driven. But this check mark is only for the new task, not for the older task. So we'll say okay, that's fine, but we need to do a little rework here, which in your case it may not be required because you know what kind of project you are planning. Here we are not knowing. So we'll go under this, double click on it, go to the advanced and check this box, effort driven. Unfortunately, I have seen some kind of little behavior of the client that when I select multiple tasks, sometime this is already checked. I don't know why. Now I check this and say okay. But it's still, if I go and double click on this, this is effort driven. Rajesh, please first help. I will select all this, go to information, go to advanced, and I have to uncheck and then check. That's what I have found is little weird with this approach. Only then it gets changed, otherwise it doesn't. So select only the lower level task. You need not to select the upper level task. Select information here in the task tab. Go to the advanced, uncheck this, totally uncheck this, and then check this. I'm sure it is done now. Right. So a little rework which we need to do, we have done it. It doesn't matter. Okay. So we have done our rework, converted all these tasks into effort driven tasks. So now if I change the work, it is the duration will going to change. It will not the effort. If I change the resources, I will talk about that little later, maybe tomorrow. Okay. So somebody will help me in putting the efforts here. Who will help me to put some efforts here? Rajesh, you have some problem with the mic. It's giving too much of noise. We are not able to hear you. We are getting a very heavy noise. Okay, somebody else? Rajesh, you leave. You can't speak. Somebody else? Sujata, will you help? Okay, let me do one thing.
Yes,
Yeah, can you help?
I can help.
Yes, let's put.
Yeah, business requirements. We have to give in terms of hours, right?
You want to give in days?
No, it's okay. It's in terms of
But no, if
work,
it is
right?
if it is convenient for you days, we convert this into days. If it is convenient in hours, then we put in hours.
No, let's put into hours then, because
Okay.
that it will be consistency, right? What we are discussing.
It will
Yeah.
remain
Business
consistent even in
requirements.
days. Even days it shouldn't be a problem.
Okay, we'll go with hours. I
Okay,
don't
let's
know
go ahead.
if everybody is okay with hours. Yeah.
No, it's fine. Let's go ahead.
Say for business requirements, we'll have 80 hours.
80 hours, 10 days.
Yeah.
It is efforts we are talking about, right? If two people will work,
Yeah,
it will
efforts.
complete in 1 week.
Yeah.
Okay.
System requirements will have 40 hours.
Okay.
Requirements document 40 hours.
Okay. The next one is milestones, so we need not to write anything.
Yeah. Okay. Now architecture we can give around 80 to 100 hours. because it will need lot of brainstorming and discussion.
Let's say 80 hours.
High level design again another 80 hours.
Okay. Design approval is a
Design up,
milestone.
yeah.
Coding.
Okay, now setup module coding will take around 6. Unit testing will take around 30 hours.
30 hours? 30 hours, 50%.
I'm giving more on unit testing.
Okay. 50% is
Code review,
organization
this
will
on the
kill
higher
you.
side, yeah. Code review will take around 20 hours.
Okay.
Rework will take another 20 hours.
Okay. So testing.
Same is the case, yeah.
So construction will
same for
take
the
60 hours and the unit testing, code review and rework will take more than construction. Okay, anyway, let's go ahead.
Maybe we can reduce something for unit testing. Wait, we'll reduce for something for unit testing.
Okay, let's say
We'll make
23
it say
days. Let's say 3 days.
20, correct.
24 days, let's say. Let's say 16 hours here.
Should reduce them.
Okay, fair enough. Let's go ahead now. For creditor module, whomever is speaking is going into some kind of problem. Let me take my skills here then. It will be like how much less? Let's say 3 weeks. Okay, unit testing. Let's say with this is standard, let's say 1 week. Code review, let's say 3 days. Rework, the other went offline. Okay. So rework will take around, let's say 40. Okay. Test design. How much? Sarpriya, would you like to opt for this?
Okay, you can put
How much should I put?
say around 3 days, 24.
3 days? I don't think, yeah, 3 days
Yeah.
test case design.
20.
Week, yeah.
Okay, we can have then 60 hours.
60 hours, yeah, at least. It is a system test cases here. We need to environment of
Environment setup can have in 3 or 3.5,
3 days.
24.
2 weeks.
7 week here. Yeah,
2 weeks.
40,
40 or 80?
80. 80 is fine.
2 weeks. Yeah, unit testing is taking
Sorry,
40
got
hours.
disconnected.
No problem, no problem. Saruppriya is helping.
Yeah,
Okay.
unit is 40, so this should be 80 only.
Yeah, unit test is 40 only. So test case execution should be 40, 80 at least. Okay, script creation.
Script creation 20.
20. Deployment plan.
Another 2 days, so let's say 16.
16 hours. 16 hours.
hours. Okay. Deployment will take a week or 2-3 days.
2 days.
2 days. UAT support. How long the UAT will go?
For 40 hours.
Yeah,
40 hours means one person for 1 week.
1 week, yeah.
For one person.
For one person, 1 week.
Right? 40 hours means one person 1 week.
Yeah.
Okay. This is a milestone. Done? So we have
Yeah.
added this estimate to these tasks, and you just see that we have only added estimate to the leaf task, that is the subtask. We have not added anything here. and we have added into work. So it is effort. It's not duration. Duration will get calculated when we add resources to these tasks. Right? Because to get the duration, you should know how many people are working on this. Correct?
Vivek, so as default, is it not taking one resource and accordingly based on one resource? I was assuming duration column should.
No, it's not taking by default. It is waiting for you to assign a resource.
Okay. So that means duration column right now will not automatically get calculated.
Yeah, it will not update. When you assign the resource, it will get updated.
Okay, and another thing, if we choose going by duration for estimation, then how will we put the duration estimate?
Then we add into, then we write into this.
In duration column itself.
In duration column itself. Then the work column will get calculated when you assign a resource. It's just reverse of that.
Okay.
Okay. Currently work is added. When you assign a resource, duration get calculated. At that time, when you estimate in duration, we will add into duration, and when we assign the resource, the work column get calculated by that.
When we were changing the checkbox in task information about so what is the implication of using that checkbox?
Implication is this, that see, there is a simple equation called duration is
and we'll still do all these steps.
look at this.
What wrong will it make?
Look at this. I just explain you so that it becomes easy. See, this is the normal formula. Duration is equal to work upon unit. Okay. In this, Sujata, please mute yourself. Okay. So in this, duration is equal to work upon unit. In this, what we do, we enter one from our hand, one we put as fixed, and third thing we leave for MS project to calculate. You're getting my point? One we keep it frozen, other thing we will enter, like in this case we have entered work, and third thing we leave for MS project to calculate. So what is that? What is here by default? Because from the beginning, when schedulers were started creative, like developing, come into picture, scheduler, auto schedulers, everything was on the focus was on duration. Nobody was bothered about the work at that time. So in the MS project, by default, duration is given priority. By default, duration is given priority. So what happens when you enter the duration, the work gets calculated. And in case you change units, now MS project doesn't know it should change work or duration. When you change the frozen part, it doesn't know it changed work or duration. So when you change the frozen part, if you have checked effort driven, it will change duration. If you have not checked effort driven, it will change work. That's the message for MS project. So units, if you provide 2 units, it doesn't know I change duration or I change work. So if you have checked work, means effort driven, it means work is priority, so it will change duration. If you have unchecked the effort driven, it says that the duration is on priority, I will change the work, so it will change the work. That's what the difference. Got it?
Yeah, okay. So for projects to do proper calculations, it should not goof up what we are thinking, so we should accordingly follow those checkboxes.
Yeah, so
Okay.
if you are estimating in efforts, you have to check that box, because you don't want to work get disturbed. But if you change the resources, you want only duration should get changed, not the work, because that is entered by me. That is my estimates. The project should not change that. So that's the message for MS project, that work is important for me. I have entered it from my hand. You please always change duration. That's the message.